What a week of basketball we have for you at Olympus High School. It's rivalry week as the Olympus boys basketball team returns home for a 3-game homestand after an incredible 1-point win over the Highland Rams. It doesn't get much easier for the Titans, though, as they play their current #1 rivals, the Brighton Bengals, who come into town looking to break their 10-game losing streak to the Titans. This is Olympus basketball on OlyTV. I'm Lucas Pierce, joined tonight by
Miles Pierce.
Let's get into the storylines for tonight's rivalry game. As we have mentioned throughout this entire basketball season, Gavin Lowe is by far and away the best player on this team, and boy has he shown it. Last week he saved the Titans once again with a shot to win the game with 3 seconds left, adding his buzzer beater total to 2 on the season. With him averaging about 23 points per game, he has been the key to the car for the Titans as they will look for another strong game for him tonight. But it hasn't just been Lowe, though. There are multiple other contributors for the Titans. Caden Jackson, Luke Owen, and Ty Goldsberry have all been very consistent in their performances, averaging between 15 and 8 points per game. Because of their consistency and Gavin Lowe's heroic play, the Titans have gotten off to a stellar start to region play, where they have already cleared one of their 4 biggest hurdles this season, which was their top 10 win at Highland. But just because Brighton isn't one of the top 3 teams in 5A Region 6 doesn't mean the Titans can overlook them. In fact, if they do, it won't end well for Olympus tonight. And that brings us to Brighton. The Bengals have struggled a bit with their very tough schedule this season. Coming into this one with an 8-6 record makes it look like they are a lowly opponent, while they really aren't. They played multiple 6A teams in their non-region play and suffered some losses to those teams, while also upsetting some of them, such as Bingham. They also have had an incredibly difficult start to region play, having to go to Highland, and they also had to face an extremely hot Skyline team at home. The question in every one of their games, though, is whether all 3 of their best players can go off. Brighton has 3 players averaging over 14 points per game. Those are Josh Mawhinney, Bradley Easton, and Jackson Soto. If all of them score in double digits, they have more than just a chance tonight, but if even one of them falters a little bit, it could prove costly. If you look at their last game against Highland, the Rams were able to hold Soto in check, and Brighton lost by 13. So the key matchup will be Olympus's defense versus these 3 players. And before we head to the keys to the game, no matter what the records say, the games between these 2 teams are always close. You may not think so when Olympus has won 10 straight in the rivalry, but this game always brings out the best in both teams. So despite Brighton being 8-6 and Olympus being 12-1, throw the records out the window and expect a close one. Now we're going to head over to Miles for the keys to the game.
Thank you, Lucas. Starting for Olympus, on the offensive side, they need to start fast. Gavin Lowe, the all-around superstar for the Titans, need to have his best stuff yet again tonight. And Caden Jackson is a guy to watch from the 3-point line. You never know with these rivalry games what could happen if you let a team like Brighton hang around long enough to pull off the upset. Defensively, the Titans have to contain the Brighton offense. The Bengals have 3 players averaging more than 13 points a game, being Jackson Soto with 13, Bradley Easton with 15, and Josh Mawhinney with 18. So the Brighton offense has 3 great scorers and will be a tough task for Olympus to fully lock them down. Brighton, on the offensive side, they need to open up the threat from behind the arc. The best 3-point shooter being Bradley Easton, who is averaging almost 3 3-pointers a game. He will be important to the Bengals because they haven't shot the ball well from the 3-point line all season long, and it's key in this game versus Olympus. On the defensive side, Brighton has to lock down Gavin Lowe. He is the best weapon the Olympus offense has to offer. He's a great scorer, averaging 21 points a game, and is an excellent at distributing the ball to all players around the court with 4 assists a game. It is important to keep him from being involved in order to win this game.
Thank you, Miles, for those keys to the game. And tonight's game will really come down to which defense plays better. Both of these offenses are very similar in their scoring output. Olympus averages 64.8 points per game, and Brighton averages 62.1. So on paper, it looks like the offenses are very even though they do score in multiple different ways. They get the same amount of points across. The difference is the defenses, as Olympus is only allowing around 49 to 50 points per game, and Brighton is allowing 58 points per game. So if Brighton's defense can lock down tonight, especially on Gavin Lowe, they have a shot. And you can expect Olympus their defense to be on fire too. They were able to hold a great Highland team to 45 points.
Yeah, I believe the Olympus defense has the tougher challenge though. Brighton has 3 incredible scorers, and it's pretty hard to lock down 3 different guys that are big threats on the offensive side. So it'll be difficult. But for Brighton, what they need to do is just simply lock down Gavin Lowe and that means completely lock him down. Do not let him pass the ball around the court. Don't let him get rebounds, and just do not let him score. That'll put more pressure on other players on the Olympus team in order to score more points.
And the biggest key to locking down Gavin Lowe is by not letting him drive to the hoop. That's where he is at his best, when he can get to the hoop, go for the layup, or he passes it out to another player such as Caden Jackson, who can hit the open three. If Brighton can limit his ability to drive to the hoop and force him outside, he will still make threes. They're not going to stop Gavin Lowe from scoring at all, but it limits his game significantly.
Yeah, and the reason he's so good at getting the basket is because of his speed. He's so good at maneuvering around the defenders and just getting those easy layups. So as you said, putting the pressure on other players on the team is key for Brighton.
And you know Brighton is really hungry to get this game. In the history between these two teams, Olympus leads the series 19-13, but as we mentioned earlier, they have won 10 straight against Brighton, and you have to think Brighton is really motivated to come out and break that streak.
Yeah, especially in this one. This Olympus team has been incredible all year long. This is a chance for Brighton to prove that they're actually a really good basketball team. They're coming on the road against this Olympus student section, and we'll see how much of a difference it can make to Brighton and their team as a whole.
All right, we're going to step away for the national anthem and starting lineups tonight. We will be back. Stay with us.
And tonight is the 33rd game between these two schools. Olympus leads the series 19-13. And now at this time, we ask that you stand if able and join our students in the Ozone in honoring America and those who protect it with the presentation of our national anthem.
And now we're going to get you your starting lineups tonight. First, starting with Brighton, who are led by head coach Tim Gardner. Number 1, Josh Mawiney, the senior forward, who's 6'4". He averages around 19 points per game and around 11 rebounds per game. That's a double-double. Number 2, Creighton Evers, the senior forward, who's 6'2". He has 39 points on the year, had 2 points last game against Highland. Number 10, Bradley Easton. He's averaging 15.5 points per game, and he had 18 points last game against Highland. Number 21, Case Beams. He has 24 points on the year and had a steal last game at Highland. He's a senior guard and is 6'2". And then number 24 is Jackson Soto, the senior guard, who's 6'2". He's averaging 14.5 points per game, and he was held in check last game. As mentioned earlier, he only had 6 points. And now let's get your starting lineup for the Olympus Titans, who are 12-1 and top 10 in the state of Utah right now. They are led by head coach Matt Barnes, who has seemingly been coaching forever. It'll be number 1, Gavin Lowe, the junior guard, who's 6 foot. He's averaging 21.3 points per game. He had 20 points, including the game winner against Highland. Number 2, Caden Jackson, the junior guard, who's averaging 11 points per game. He had 6 points last game against Highland. Number 4, Ty Goldsberry, the senior guard, who's 6'2". He's averaging 8.5 points per game and had 6 points against the Rams. Number 13, Davian Lazarus, the sophomore forward, who's been implemented in the starting lineup recently. He has 28 rebounds on the year and had 7 of those last week against the Rams. And then number 14, Luke Owen, the senior forward, who's averaging 8.6 points per game and 7.8 rebounds per game. It should be a good one tonight in this rivalry between Olympus and Brighton. In the jump circle, it will be Lazarus and Bradley Easton, right at the Hook-O in center court. Probably the biggest crowd we've had here at Olympus High School for a basketball game this year. The student section is ready to go. So are both of the teams. The tip is up, and it's won and controlled by the Titans. It's Gavin Lowe who brings it up the floor.
Yeah, that's the difference that Davian Lazarus makes. They finally have the height advantage in the jump circle, which can be key for this Titans team.
Lazarus, he passes it to Lowe. Lowe's looking to drive. He finds Luke Owen, who's open from 3. It's an early 3 for the Titans. And now we'll see what Brighton can do.
Yeah, Brighton, they didn't let Gavin Lowe score, but he's just so good at distributing the ball all around the court, and you saw it right there once again.
It's Easton who's guarded by Lowe. They pass it to Jackson Soto, and he's guarded by Jackson. Soto's going to put up the jumper. It's no good, but Mawini comes down with the rebound. He's double-teamed, and it's stolen away by Goldsberry, who's bringing it up the floor now. The Titans have some numbers. Owen's going to try and lay it up, but it's no good, and he isn't able to get the rebound. It's Easton controlling the offense for the Bengals. He passes it to Beams. Beams to Soto now, and back to Beams. Mawini's guarded by Lowe. Easton's going to shoot the 3. It's no good, but Evers comes down with the rebound, and Brighton resets. They find Soto under the basket. That layup is no good.
Uncharacteristic by this Bengals offense. They're normally so good at scoring, and they just haven't been early on.
And that'll be an early foul on the Bengals. I think it was on Case Beams, who was guarding Gavin Lowe. It'll be Gavin Lowe inbounding the ball to one of his Titans teammates. We'll see what they drop. They get it into Jackson, and now they reset on offense. The Titans get it to Lowe. Lowe's looking to drive. He's going to lay it up and in. That's what he does so good. You cannot give him any lane into the paint.
Yeah, he just utilizes his speed so well, and he can get around any defenders that you throw under the basket, and that's just what he's so good at.
It's Beams looking to pass it. They get it to Mawini. Mawini's guarded by Lazarus. He gets around him but isn't able to put the shot up. It looked like it was deflected on the way up. Caden Jackson passes it back out to Lazarus. Gavin Lowe's driving again. He lays it up and in. And Brighton calls an early timeout as the Titans are now up 7-0. What a start.
Yeah, definitely. Brighton had to limit Gavin Lowe, and they haven't already. Every single chance that he gets, he can just drive through the paint and make a layup. The Bengals have to find a way to slow him down, because if they don't, this game could get out of hand.
You would think that they would put a double team on him. Right now, they have a single person on him, and he's just getting whatever he wants on the court, able to drive.
Yeah, and part of the reason they are doing that is that easy or that early 3 by Luke Owen. that kind of showed that the Titans are something without Gavin Lowe. And so they kind of need to distribute the defenders to all players on the court just to limit the damage.
And so the student sections are already going at it tonight, chanting back and forth with each other as we're only just 2 minutes into this one. Evers passes to Soto, and now Mawini. Mawini is guarded by Lazarus. Easton is open from 3. That one is good. Brighton is on the board with their first basket tonight.
Yeah, Bradley Easton is Brighton's best three-point shooter, and they had to score. Getting down 7-0 isn't ideal, and it was a good response.
Goldsberry passes to Lazarus. He's going to shoot the 3, and that one is no good. Soto comes down with the rebound over Luke Owen. They find Easton, who was going to cut to the basket for a second, but stayed outside the perimeter. That's an errant pass, but it is controlled by Case Beams. Beams passes it back to Soto, and Brighton's slowing it down on offense. Beams thought about the 3. Now he passes it to Mawini. Mawini hasn't gotten going yet in this one. We'll see when he does get his first basket. They pass it to Mawini now. He's going to drive on Lazarus, and he's able to get it over him and put the shot in.
Excellent response by Brighton. You get down the 7-0 hole early, and it's been a great response. You've been utilizing your best players to score.
They pass it to Luke Owen. He's open. That one is good. Brighton can't leave Luke Owen open from the corner tonight. He's already 2 for 2.
The second time it's happened again. Brighton's just focusing so much at limiting Gavin Lowe's production underneath the basket. They just don't even see anyone at the corner.
And now that's tipped by Gavin Lowe, and they're going to call a foul on him as he and Evers were going for the ball. He's clearly not happy that the refs called that one.
Yeah, clearly already. It's been a very chippy game. Both teams do not like each other at all, and you might see that progress later on in the game.
And now the sophomore guard checks in for Brighton. That's Dax Matheson. He has 17 points on the year. We'll see who Soto passes it to. It's Easton. He's guarded by Jackson. It was Matheson setting the screen right there. And now Easton moving around the perimeter. Doesn't really have anywhere to pass right now. Now he finds Mawini, who's open from 3. And that one is good. The high arcing 3 goes in.
Yeah, you see Mawini starting to get going. Brighton is at its best when their 3 best players are providing the points on the court, and they've done an excellent job so far.
Owen's going to shoot another 3. That one is no good, and Mawini comes down with the rebound. Soto's driving. Through contact, he draws the foul, and he will be at the free throw line.
After getting down 7-0, Brighton has responded very well on the offensive side, getting those 8 points. And I look to the defensive side. They've done a pretty good job at containing the Titans' offense, and you see the faster pace that Olympus is bringing. It just isn't really a problem for Brighton.
The timeout called by Coach Tim Gardner really settled things down for Brighton, and you have to be able to control that in a rivalry game. Your emotions can get really high, it can get you out of focus, but that timeout calmed them down a little bit. Second free throw is good by Jackson Soto, and we are tied.
As you said, the emotions can get out of hand, and that can really not be good for your team. If you're able to stay calm and composed, it can be one of the best assets that you have.
Jackson thought about the 3, now he's looking to drive, and that'll be a touch foul on Matheson. The second one of the quarter for Brighton, as we're just under halfway through this first quarter. Inbounding at under the basket will be Gavin Lowe. Tried to get it to Jackson. Good defense by Brighton. Olympus still able to get it in though. Now Lowe finds Jackson. He's going to shoot the 3. That one is good. Deep and contested 3 from Jackson.
Yeah, exactly what Olympus needed to do. They needed to get more players involved outside of just Gavin Lowe, and they've done that early with multiple triples by Luke Owen and then another one by Caden Jackson.
I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, those are very consistent players for the Titans. They don't put up the best numbers, but they are very consistent in what they put up. Now it's Beams driving. He's able to put that shot up and good. And now it's a 1-point game with 2:40 left in this first quarter. Owen finds Lazarus. He's guarded by Mawini. Goldsberry passes it back to Lazarus. And now to Owen. Owen finds Gavin Lowe. We'll see what he does here. He's looking to drive, didn't have any room to. Jackson's going to put up a three. Another one good by Jackson. 2 possessions in a row.
Yeah. Going into this game, you knew that that Olympus has the players, and they've done an excellent job from the three-point line so far.
And that was really the key for the team last year. They were lethal from the three-point line, as that one is no good by the Bengals. Luke Owen has a lane to drive. He lays it up and in.
This Olympus offense is looking unstoppable right now. Brighton doesn't really have any answer for it. They're shooting the ball well from 3, and they're just driving to the basket easily.
And now it's Jackson Soto guarded by Gavin Lowe. Now they switch, and Beams is going to shoot the 3. That one is no good. No good. Great rebound by Luke Owen. Now Olympus passing around the perimeter. Gavin Lowe's going to shoot the contested 3. It bounces out, and Easton comes down with the rebound.
Ever since getting down 7-0, Brighton went on a little bit of a run, and Olympus defense has slowed them down since then.
And just as you say that, Case Beams hits a 3, and it is a 3-point game.
Much needed basket. Olympus seemed to be dominating on the offensive side and the defensive side, and it was a much needed bucket.
It's Caden Jackson now getting some separation from Matheson. Owen has it, and now Gavin Lowe. Gavin Lowe nearly has it stolen away, but he keeps possession. Caden Jackson's going to shoot the 3. It's good again. Caden Jackson is on fire from 3.
It's pretty incredible. Like, you know that he's a very good three-point shooter, but when you come out and you're 3 for 3 already in the first quarter, it's very good stuff.
Olympus student section hounding the Brighton Bengals right now. As they let the clock wind down, they hold for the last shot. Soto's going to drive on Jackson. His jumper is no good, and we'll see what the refs call. I think that is the end of the first quarter. But it is the end of the first quarter, and the Olympus Titans have a 21-15 lead. And the biggest reason for that is because Luke Owen and Caden Jackson were on fire from 3.
Going into this game, you expect a lot of points to be put up on the board. And for Olympus, you thought it would just be Gavin Lowe, Gavin Lowe, Gavin Lowe. But you see Luke Owen and Caden Jackson, they're just on fire from 3, and Brighton doesn't seem to have an answer. And for Brighton, they fought back after the early 7-0 deficit, and they've shown a lot of life on the offensive side. They just need their defense to start stepping up in order to prevent more points from Olympus.
It was a highly entertaining first quarter, though. And this is how a lot of the games between these two teams have gone over the last few years. They've been very high-scoring games, and if this first quarter is anything like the rest of the game will be, we'll expect to see scores in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, whenever these two teams play, it just feels like it means more. Both teams give it their all game long, and you've seen it in the first quarter.
Checking in for the Titans is Jack Evans and Nate Watson. Jack Evans, the senior guard, is averaging 3.8 points per game. And then Nate Watson, the senior center, who's 6'6", has 15 points on the year. He had 1 point last game against Highland. And it's Mawini going against Nate Watson. He's able to get around him, lay it up, and in.
Yeah, it seems like after every stoppage in the game, head coach Tim Gardner just put some wise words in the minds of the Brighton Bengals. both times they've just been pretty good at scoring right out of the timeout.
It's Jack Evans who passes to Watson. Is he going to answer back? He is. He answers right back against Mawini's layup. And the Titans keep that 6-point lead.
Brighton doesn't really have an answer on the defensive side. Olympus is just scoring with ease.
Now Brighton passing around the perimeter. It's Easton who's looking to go inside. And now they get it to Carson Janke, who passes it to Braden Dunn. Dunn passes it to Mawini. He's guarded by Watson. Is he going to go around him again? He tries to, gets fouled on his crazy shot attempt, and so he'll be at the line.
This is a chance for Brighton to get some easy points on the board. They're down 6, and it's a chance to cut the deficit. Olympus has been pretty good on the offensive side and haven't shown signs of slowing down.
Mawini's first one is up, and it is good. Brighton 3 for 3 from the free throw line so far tonight. We mentioned earlier how this was going to be a great crowd, great atmosphere. It has proved to be that tonight, right as Brighton misses their second free throw.
Certainly, this Olympus student section is the best we've seen all year, and they show up for the big games.
Gavin Lowe passes it inside to Owen. Owen finds Nate Watson. What a great pass by Luke Owen to find Nate Watson, and so he could lay it up and in. And now it's Janke who passes it in to Mawini. Mawini's going to try and go against Watson. He passes to Soto, who's open from 3. That one is good. Big 3 for the Bengals as they get within 4 now, cut the deficit.
Pretty much all game long, Brighton hasn't been terrible from the 3-point line. It's just they aren't getting the open looks, which is what the Olympus defense has been really good at.
Evans passes it back out to Lowe. Lowe's looking to drive. He passes it to Owen. Owen thought about the 3 from the corner but didn't take it. Now Lowe's going to take it. He makes that 3. You can't give Gavin Lowe any room to shoot the basket as he's going to kill you.
Either if he's driving to through the paint, shooting the mid-range or shooting the 3, any little bit of light he gets, he's going to score.
What a steal by Lowe. Can he lay it up and in? He can, plus the foul. What a possession by Gavin Lowe. Hits the deep 3, gets the steal, lays it up and in, plus the foul.
The speed of Gavin Lowe is just so good for them that Bradley Easton couldn't keep up with him, and that's why Gavin Lowe drew the foul.
And so Gardner calls a timeout again for the Bengals, who now face their biggest deficit of the night of 9. What's really gone wrong for them in the second half?
Well, it's just their defense. Going into the game, it was which defense was going to step up. And right now it's been the Olympus defense. Olympus is just killing Brighton on all cylinders. They're killing him from the 3-point line and with the easy layups. And part of the reason for that is just getting the ball to all the players around the court, that Brighton doesn't double team anyone, and anyone on the Olympus offense can win the one-on-ones.
I think the biggest thing this shows for the Titans is that they can play multiple styles of games and still be like right now they're up by 9. They can play in multiple styles of games and they can have a great chance at winning. Last week against Highland, they were in a very defensive type of game where they had to grind out a win, find out a way to win on the road. In this one that seems to be a high-scoring game, and they're up by 9. So Gavin Lowe will be shooting his free throw after his layup. We'll see if he can extend this Titans lead to 10. It is up, it is good. And now Brighton has to respond after their timeout. Soto passes it to Easton. They're going to try and go inside with Mawini. They've been trying to attack Nate Watson. They haven't been able to do so yet. What a fake by Jackson Soto, but he isn't able to make the open 3.
Excellent fake. You faked out Gavin Lowe, and You just had to have scored there. You're down by 10 points, and the Olympus offense is not slowing down.
And now it's Luke Owen. They tried to go into Jack Evans, and now they keep it outside the three-point line. Gavin Lowe driving. They pass it to Watson. They pass it back to Lowe, who back to Watson, who isn't able to put the layup in. Great block by Mawini. Soto isn't able to control it, but he regains possession. They pass it to Easton. That three is no good, and they're going to call an over-the-back foul on Nate Watson, I believe, or a push foul.
Going back to the Titans' offensive possession, Gavin Lowe passed it in to Nate Watson, but he was open from three. There was two people in front of him, but they weren't close enough in order to block the shot. I would have liked him to take the shot there.
The ball was tipped, so now it'll be an inbounds pass right by the Olympus student section. Inbounding will be Bradley Easton.
Have to imagine the Olympus student section is letting Bradley Easton hear him.
It didn't look like Vice Principal Eric Kerr let them do that. That pass somehow gets to Soto. Now they pass it to Mawini, who's guarded by Lazarus now, who's in for Nate Watson. Mawini's driving. He's able to get around, but not put the shot in the hoop. And Phillip comes down with the rebound.
That's why Lazarus is so important to this team. Olympus finally has that height advantage in the paint, and it's been key early on.
Gavin Lowe has it now. They pass it to Evans. He thought about passing it to Malachi Phillip, who was open at the baseline. Now Gavin Lowe's driving. He finds Phillip. Gavin Lowe's open from three, didn't take it. Brighton playing some really tight defense right now. Lazarus is going to shoot the three. That one is no good. But Phillip is able to come down with the offensive rebound. And the Titans reset on offense. Gavin Lowe's going to shoot the three this time. It is no good. And Mawini comes down with the rebound.
Overall, really good possession by Brighton. They didn't allow Olympus to score. And besides that missed rebound, it was very successful.
The shot, the floater by Easton is no good. And Brighton somehow comes down with the offensive rebound. Now it's Soto who passes it. Driving is Slade Clowen. That one is no good. What a block. Jack Evans is going to shoot the three. It's no good, short. Soto with the rebound.
Brighton really caught a break there. Olympus got the block, and they had Jack Evans open from three, and they're just lucky that he didn't make it.
Soto looking to pass the ball. He passes it to Mawini. He's guarded by Lazarus. He's trying to move around him, doesn't have much room to. What fantastic defense by David Lazarus right there.
He's just so good at forcing blocks, as you saw in the last possession, and he's just excellent underneath the basket.
Now the Titans are going quickly on offense. Gavin Lowe thought about the mid-range jumper, wasn't able to put it up. Jackson finds Lazarus now. Lazarus is looking to drive. He passes to Phillip. Phillip is guarded by Jenke. Let's see what Gavin Lowe does. He's guarded tightly by Jackson Soto. And he loses control of the ball. That's a steal by Mawini. Now Mawini passes it out to Easton. And Brighton resets. It's Jenke who's controlling the offense for Brighton. Easton's going to put up the open three. That one is good. A much-needed bucket for Brighton.
Great job getting Brighton back into this game. Olympus was unstoppable from offense, and as of recently, Brighton has completely shut them down. They aren't making any of their shots, and a great response by them with the three-pointer.
Now it's Phillip, and now Lowe. Titans passing it around slowly. It's a very stagnant offensive possession. Phillip passes it back out to Lowe. Brighton has really clamped down on defense. Phillip is open from three, though. That one is good. The Titans respond to Brighton's three with a three of their own.
Killer for Brighton. You finally found something going on the defensive side, and you get your own three, but Olympus just responds right back.
Jenke is guarded by Evans. Evans gets the steal. What a great pass deflection. Now the Titans have a 4-on-3. Let's see what they do with it. Lowe's going to drive. What a shot by Gavin Lowe.
all game long, Brighton has done a pretty good job at limiting Gavin Lowe's production, except when he gets any bit of light underneath the basket, he's just going to utilize his speed and make incredible shots.
And so the Titans now have a 12-point lead, and Brighton has to get some momentum before going into halftime. Olympus is really clamped down in this second quarter.
It's very important. Olympus has been very good on the defensive side, aside from that three a few minutes ago, and Brighton just isn't doing the same. So if Brighton can slow down this Olympus offense and then finally score some points of their own, they might have a chance to gain some momentum and get back in the game.
It would be really important for Brighton to at least get within 10. I don't think they can let the lead get any bigger. It's Matheson bringing it up the floor for the Bengals. Guarded tightly by Lowe. And now they go inside to Mawini. Lazarus and Nate Watson have played great defense on him tonight. Easton doesn't have anywhere to go, and now they're going underneath to Mawini once again. Lazarus, he isn't able to get around the Titans defense, and that's another turnover.
On that offensive possession, they had Case Beams open in the corner, and they just couldn't get the pass off because this Olympus defense is just so good at forcing turnovers.
And now the Titans will hold for the last shot of this first half. What a half it's been. Gavin Lowe's already with 12 points, and they've been on fire from three. He's going to drive, lay it up, and in. And so the Titans now have a 14-point lead. Does Brighton put up a shot? They do. Oh, that one almost goes in. Considering the length of that shot, you have to think it was a good miss.
Yeah, I would say so too.
And so the Titans now have a 14-point lead going into halftime. 38-24. What a first half on the offensive side.
Definitely. And both offenses in the first quarter looked incredible. But taking a deeper dive into the defensive side, it's been Olympus who has stepped up the most, holding Brighton to only 9 points in the second quarter. And that's the difference in this game. Brighton isn't doing the same with the Olympus offense, who's just thriving with this Brighton defense.
And really the biggest thing is how the Olympus defense has clamped down on Josh Mawini. Davian Lazarus and Nate Watson have played incredible defense, and he has not been able to put up the points that he needs to win. He's only at 8 points.
Brighton is at their best when their big three are performing to the best of their abilities. And when one of them is shut down, the other two haven't really stepped up tonight. So going into the second half, you have to expect more players for Brighton to step up.
And now we're going to step away for the halftime performance from the drill team. I'm Lucas Pierce.
And I'm Miles Pierce.
We'll be back for the second half.
And now, fans, we wish to celebrate the phenomenal achievements of this year's Olympus High cheer team. This extraordinary group of student athletes has left their mark on Utah's high school cheerleading, showcasing incredible skill, teamwork, and dedication throughout their season. Fresh off their divisional competition, they competed and clinched first place in 2 cheer categories, including cheer and show, which crowned them the overall 5A divisional champions. Led by head coach Haley Castle, will you please join me and give a loud applause for your region champions, the Olympus High cheer team. Unofficial scoring for that first half. First from Brighton, Josh Maloney with 8 points. Bradley Eastman with 6. Case Beams 5 points, and Jackson Soto with 5 points. For Olympus, Malachi Phillip with 3. Gavin Lowe 14. Aiden Jackson with 9. Nate Watson 4 points. And Luke Owen 8 points. tonight's game sponsor is Intermountain Sports Medicine. Olympus is proud to highlight our fantastic partnership with Intermountain Healthcare, a true titan of our community. Joining us tonight is Tosh's outstanding athletic trainer, Mike Everett, who is dedicated to keeping your student athletes at the best. Thank you, Mike, and Intermountain for your unwavering support. Start of the second half. Tight basketball.
Welcome back to Olympus High School as we start the second half. It's 38-24 Titans. We'll see if they can hold on to this lead for the rest of the game. It's Jackson who passes it to Gavin Lowe, who's going to shoot the corner three. That one rims in and out, and the rebound is controlled by Brighton.
For Brighton, they got to score on this possession, find a way to get themselves back into this game, because if they can get it close, they have a chance to pull off the comeback.
And now that's Josh Mawini getting his 10th point of the game. And now Olympus is up by 12. Goldsberry passes it back to Lowe. And Lowe finds Goldsberry. He thought about the three, now he's going to drive. He passes it to Lazarus now. Lazarus is going to drive. They pass it, tried to pass it out. And that is an offensive foul on Davian Lazarus. So Brighton with some early momentum in this third quarter.
And that's what they had to come in and do. They had to establish the dominance here in the second half. And that's what they've done. Much improved defense with Olympus not scoring on their first two possessions.
Now the Olympus student section getting a little loud. They're going to try and go to Mawini once again. They pass it to Soto. Soto gets around. Lowe isn't able to put the shot up, and Owen comes down with it, passes it to Lowe. And that'll be a blocking foul on Jackson Soto. His first of the game. And so Olympus will be inbounding right by the scorer's table. It's been a pretty clean game for both teams.
Yeah, so far it has been, and we haven't really expected that. It's a rivalry game, and
that three is no good.
You normally see the teams be more chippy with each other throughout a rivalry game.
Lazarus isn't able to go, or excuse me, that was Mawini who was blocked by Lazarus, and now the Titans are moving quickly. Jackson thought about the three and isn't able to pass it to Goldsberry, who was open in the corner.
So far this season, and especially as of late, the Olympus team has been very good with their communication and not having those miscommunication moments that you just saw right there.
It's Case Beams. He passes it to Creighton Evers. Now they get it to Jackson Soto and back to Beams. Soto guarded by Lowe, and now it's Mawini guarded by Lazarus. Those two have been going at it all game, and what a matchup that has been. Beams gets around Goldsberry, isn't able to put up the shot, and it's Jackson Soto isn't able to put up the shot either, and it's Lowe who gets the rebound.
This is the third time in this quarter where Brighton has had open looks and they just cannot put the ball in the hoop.
Owen is able to get around the defenders with the kind of hook shot right there, and it goes in the basket.
Brighton has got to get some consistency on offense. They're just missing these layups that they normally are making, and it's cost them.
Easton's going to put up the deep three, no good, but the offensive rebound is controlled by Beams. Now it's Mawini. Is he able to get around Lazarus this time? He passes it out to Beams, and they pass it to Soto. He's going to shoot the three. That one bounces out, and Owen comes down with the rebound.
Ever since those first two possessions where Brighton scored pretty quickly, they just have not gotten anything since.
And that'll be stolen away as that goes off of Caden Jackson. Great defense by Case Beams. Titans a little sloppy on offense, even though they still have that 14-point lead.
Yeah, and that's why it was so important for them to get that lead going into halftime, because Brighton is a team that can just keep fighting back, and getting that lead was so important because if you have miscues like this, you still have a comfortable enough lead.
And one thing for the Titans is that this is back-to-back home games where they've kind of struggled a little bit coming out of the locker room at halftime. Against West, they had such a big lead that it didn't matter. They've got to wake up a little bit so it doesn't matter here too, as that three is good by Carson Janke. Or excuse me, Carson Jank. Lazarus finds Owen. And now Owen turns the ball over. Never mind, that goes off of Brighton. A fortunate break for the Titans right there. They've just been sloppy on offense.
Yeah, you don't see that often, and you especially did not see that in the first half. And as you mentioned last game, they had some of this happen going into the second half as well.
Lowe's trying to drive right here with the spin move, is able to lay it up and in. What an incredible move by Gavin Lowe. They cannot keep him from driving.
Yeah, that's what makes Gavin Lowe so good. He's versatile from all parts of the court.
And they're going to call a foul on Lowe as he tried to go for the screen against Beams. If the ref didn't call that foul, he would have had an easy layup. Olympus with a 13-point lead, 42-29, with 4:03 left in this third quarter. Brighton isn't going to go down easy. You have to expect they're going to put up a fight for the rest of the game. It's Jank who passes it to Easton. Soto's going inside to Mawini. That shot is blocked by Lazarus. His height has proved to be the difference tonight as Goldsberry is fouled.
Yeah, he is Olympus's best defensive player, and putting him up against Mawini has been an excellent matchup for the Titans. Brighton just lacks that height advantage, which Olympus hasn't had all season long, and you've seen it early with multiple block shots by Lazarus.
Gavin Lowe brings it up the court slowly as he's guarded by Jackson Soto. We'll see what they do on offense on this possession. Their scoring output has been lowered a little bit, but Brighton hasn't matched that very well either. Owens looking to drive. That is blocked by Soto, and now the Bengals are looking to go quickly. Jank passes it to Mawini. He passes it to Easton. Easton only with 6 points tonight. That's nearly a travel. Now they're going inside with Beams. Thought about the mid-range jumper. Now it's Jank who puts up the three. It's no good, and Lowe is bringing up the floor for the Titans. He's able to get into the paint, and they're going to call that foul on the shot. Great job by Gavin Lowe to be able to draw the foul. It looked like there would be no room for him to even get that call on the shot.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to that Brighton possession, early on in this half they've been scoring pretty consistently, and you see the Olympus defense locking down the offense, and they've done an excellent job at it.
Lowe's second free throw of the game is up, and it is good. So the Titans back out to that 14-point lead they went into halftime with. Can they make it 15? Yes, they can. Gavin Lowe now 3 for 3 on the night with free throws. The Titans now 3 for 3 from the night for the night. Mawini finds Jank, who's guarded by Goldsberry. They pass it to Easton. He's guarded tightly by Jackson. Cohen passes it out to Jank, and Jank finds Beams. Beams thought about the three. Now he's driving on Low. He loses his footing, and they're going to call a foul on the shot on Gavin Lowe, which is his third foul of the game. That's something that we have to watch now.
Yeah, interesting to see if they are going to take out Gavin Lowe. You already have built a big enough lead that if Brighton is able to cut the deficit significantly, you can still bring him in with 2 fouls to spare.
First free throw is up, and it is no good.
Olympus got their chance to get their free points at the free throw line, and now Brighton has their chance, and they already missed one of them.
And it's really important to capitalize on these opportunities because neither team has been at the line much tonight. The refs have done a great job of calling the game with few fouls both ways.
Yeah, they've been very consistent. They're allowing a little bit of contact, which is good to see, and when they only call fouls when there's enough contact.
Now it's Gavin Lowe. He settles down the offense. Easton's guarding him. They pass it to Lowe, pass it to Jackson. He's going to shoot the three. That one is good. Big three by Jackson as he was able to get around the late closeout by Case Beams.
Caden Jackson is now 4 for 4 from the three-point line tonight, and he's having a great game.
Now it's Easton. Easton's going to put up a three of his own. That one is good. Big answer from Brighton. They needed that. Leads back down to 14.
Great response by Brighton. You don't want the game to get too out of hand, and you want to keep it in the range where you can come back.
Goldsberry's driving, and they're going to call an offensive foul as it looked like he extended his arm a little bit right there. And that's now 3 fouls on each team in this. Now 4 fouls on Olympus, 3 fouls on Brighton as we come to the end of the fourth quarter.
Interesting.
And Matt Barnes is getting really mad at the refs right now.
Interesting to see how the Olympus team has looked not great in the second half, and Brighton has now got to capitalize on that.
And they're going to call a traveling violation on Brighton. And so Brighton isn't able to gain any momentum from that offensive foul as they turn it right back over to the Titans.
You just can't do that. Brighton has got to capitalize on these uncharacteristic Olympus mistakes.
And it looks like Gavin Lowe is out of the game for Jack Evans right now as Case Beams goes down. He looks like he's injured. The three by Lazarus is good, and now we have a timeout on the floor as Case Beams is clearly in pain. It looked like it's something to do with his right leg or foot.
I never like to see that, and for Brighton, he's been one of your best players tonight.
Beams clearly wasn't happy with the Olympus student section right there. And it looked like it was just a cramp. And he's able to get right back onto the floor and play. But the coach is taking him out as he gets a little break. Soto now back in the game for Beams is guarded by Evans. Now they're switching on defensive guarding, and Easton passes it to Jank. Mawini's driving now, and the refs are going to call a foul on Luke Owen. So Mawini will be at the line with 35 seconds left in this third quarter.
Now it's very important for Brighton to finally capitalize on these opportunities. When Olympus is struggling on offense, they just keep turning the ball over, and now they have free throws that they got to start making.
And now that's another missed free throw by Brighton. They have missed quite a few tonight, and it'll be a challenge for them to come back in this game if they're not down, if they don't get the lead. If they don't get the deficit to about 15.
Yeah, they're leaving so many points on the court, which can be very important later on.
Both free throws are missed by Mawini, and now the Titans will be able to hold for the last shot of the third quarter. Now they're going to slow things down. They have a 17-point lead, 50-33 over their rivals, the Brighton Bengals. Olympus looking for their 11th straight win over this team. They look to improve to 13-1 overall on the year. They pass it to Jack Evans. He's going to shoot the three from the corner. That one is no good, and it'll be out of bounds with 1 second left off of Brighton. So let's see what Matt Barnes can draw up here.
Yeah, right now you can probably expect Lazarus to be involved. If he gets the ball underneath the basket, he can just lay it in, which could be pretty killer for Brighton.
They get it into Lazarus. He's going to shoot the three. That one is no good. The Titans will take it, though. They have a 17-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And their defensive play, in the first half it was their offensive play that was so good, but really their defensive play has been stellar all night.
Definitely. You see the offense kind of regressing from that first half, but it's the defense that has stepped up. Brighton doesn't really respond to the offensive struggles, and they just keep turning the ball over, and that's thanks to the Olympus defense.
And so now the Olympus student section getting ready to do their "I believe we will win" chant. And they do have reason to believe that the Titans have played incredible in this game. And so coming out of the timeout for the Titans, it'll be Caden Jackson, Malachi Phillip, Gavin Lowe, Jack Evans, and Davian Lazarus.
If Brighton wants a chance to get back into this game, they need to find some consistency on offense. And that means they got to score on a significant amount of their possessions in this fourth quarter, and then their defense has to step up and continue locking down the Olympus offense.
They have to go on a big run here at some point. You have to think a 10-0 run is what's going to get them back into this game. And and on the defensive side, maybe they try a full court press here soon.
And you know that this Brighton offense is capable of that. They just haven't done that tonight.
It's Slade Cohen who's trying to go around Jackson. That one is blocked, though. Rebound by Soto. He's going to put the layup in. And so Brighton down by 15, 50-35.
Good start for Brighton. Now Brighton needs to force a turnover or get a rebound here to kind of force a change in momentum.
Jackson is guarded by Beams. He's going to try and go around. Beams isn't able to, so he passes it to Phillip. Now Lazarus gets it to Evans. Have to think Gavin Lowe gets involved here somehow. Evans passes it to Jackson. And now they get it to Lowe. Lowe's driving. He's going to lay it up and in. He went right around Jackson Soto, who fell to the ground. And now a turnover by the Titans. They pass it to Phillip, who's open from three. That one is good. The Titans now have a 20-point lead in this fourth quarter.
Absolutely killer for Brighton. You finally get a little bit of momentum, and you're holding the Olympus offense for majority of the shot clock. And then just excellent execution by Gavin Lowe on the offensive and defensive side. And capped off by the Malachi Phillip three.
The drive by Jank. He puts a shot up, and it is good. But Brighton really needs a stop here. That's what they've been unable to get all game. Lowe passes it to Jackson, and now Evans. Evans is going to drive. His layup is no good, but he does draw the foul, and he will be headed to the free throw line. These will be the first free throws that an Olympus Titan not named Gavin Lowe has shot tonight. First one is up. It is good. Titans now 4 for 4.
That's one of the differences in this game. Olympus's offense have been significantly better, but when Brighton is missing those free throws, you're just leaving points on the court as compared to when Olympus makes theirs.
Second one is good as well. Titans still 100% from the free throw line tonight, and I'm sure they'd like to keep it that way. Soto's mid-range jumper ends up being a pass, and now they pass it out. Nearly a steal by Lowe. The three by Soto is good. So Brighton not necessarily going away, but they need to get some stops on defense.
Their offense has not been terrible. The Olympus defense has just shut them down, which is what Brighton can't do to the Olympus offense.
Lowe's driving on Soto. They pass it out to Phillip. It's Jackson, who's guarded by Beams. They pass it to Phillip once again. He's guarded by Easton. He's trying to go around him, isn't able to, so he passes it back out to Gavin Lowe. 10 seconds left on the shot clock now. Lowe passes it to Lazarus. Lazarus goes around and isn't able to lay it in. It rolls off the rim. It's Jank He gets it to Soto. Soto's guarded tightly by Evans. They're going to try to go inside by They're going to try to go inside with Cohen. He isn't able to get around Lazarus. And now Jank slows it down on offense for Brighton. The three by Easton is up. It is good. So maybe this is the run for Brighton that they needed.
Much needed, especially. Olympus had a 20-point lead, and that's now only 14. It seems like Brighton has started to find something on offense.
Brighton on a 6-0 run will keep track if that extends any longer. Lowe's going to shoot the three. That one is good. You cannot give him any room to shoot. And now we have a stoppage as Nate Watson checks in for Lazarus.
There's no question that Gavin Lowe is the best player on this Titans team. And you've seen that. Brighton had to contain him to some extent. But when you're double teaming him in the paint, he's just going to shoot it from three.
Soto. And now it's Easton who has it. Easton's looking to drive. They're able to pass it underneath with Slade Cohen. He puts up the layup plus the foul.
Now Brighton has to finally make their free throws. It seemed, as of late, they have finally gotten something going on offense. If it wasn't for that Gavin Lowe three on the last possession, Brighton would be in a pretty good place.
And that free throw is no good once again. Brighton has not been any good from the free throw line tonight. If they just make their free throws, it's probably about a 10-point game.
Yeah, and it's going to come back to bite them, and it already has.
Jackson's with the mid-range jumper is good, plus the foul. And so he will be headed to the free throw line. We have substitution for the Bengals. It'll be Josh Mawhinney and Creighton Evers coming in for Case Beams and Carson Jank.
For a minute there in this fourth quarter, it looked like Brighton was beginning to go on their run, but the Olympus offense has just responded so well in shutting down any momentum Brighton has had.
Free throw by Jackson is good. And now Brighton needs to score in a hurry as we're halfway done with this fourth quarter. And that is stolen away by Jackson. Miscommunication by the Bengals. They find Evans, and now they slow it back down on offense. Jackson commanding the offense. They passes it to Lowe. Now it's Phillip, who's tried to drive right there, but he loses control of the ball, and now it's a 3-on-3 for the Bengals. Soto's going to lay it up and in to cut the deficit to 16.
And now you have to expect Olympus is just trying to run out the clock here. They've built a big enough lead and shut down all the momentum that Brighton has had.
It's Evans who's guarded by Evers. Brighton's going to need more turnovers like they had last possession. They don't get it there as Evans drives to the basket, lays it up and in. And that's nearly stolen away by Lowe, but it will be out of bounds off of him. So the Bengals reset on offense as they'll be inbounding near the corner.
Seems like every time Brighton gets a score, Olympus just answers right back. Brighton's defense has to be better, and they really haven't this entire second half. Olympus is just so good at responding.
Easton thought about the three, didn't take it. Now it's Cohen. They pass it back out to Mawhinney. The Titans have done a great job of controlling Mawhinney tonight with great defense from Lazarus and Nate Watson.
Yeah, and he's the best player on this Brighton offense with 18 points per game. But especially with Davian Lazarus, he has like multiple blocks on him, and Mawhinney just can't get around him.
Easton's three is up and no good, but that's a hard foul on Nate Watson. So Easton will be headed to the free throw line. And when you're up by that much, all you want to do is probably just let them shoot it. Don't give them any more opportunities if they miss it at the free throw line. First one by Easton is up. It is no good. Brighton is just shooting themselves in the foot again and again at the free throw line.
If they're able to make like 5 or 6 of them, it's a different game. You're within 10 points, and you have a chance to compete for this game, but they just haven't with their struggles at the free throw line.
Easton's third one is good, so he goes 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Probably Brighton's best trip of the night. And now Lowe slowly brings it up the floor. You have to wonder why Brighton hasn't put on a full court press yet.
Definitely. They have to start forcing turnovers just to make the score look a little bit better. And maybe, if they had done it earlier, have a chance to still be in this game.
Lowe gets it to Lazarus. And now it's Jackson. Olympus using nearly all of the shot clock as it's down to 7. What does Gavin Lowe do here? He's double teamed. They pass it to Jackson. He's going to shoot the deep 3. That one is no good. It goes out. I'm not sure how that's a shot clock violation. That clearly went off the rim.
Yeah, I don't know how they could have said that it didn't hit the rim. Because when he shot the ball, you saw the ball fall straight down. It didn't just keep arcing. It fell straight down.
Maybe from that vantage point over there, it looked like it went off the backboard. I'm not sure. The 3 is no good by Brighton, and Owen comes down with the rebound. And now Lowe has it as we're under 2 minutes left in this one. The Titans have a comfortable lead, up 16. The 3 by Jackson is good. And that's been the story of the night for the Titans on offense. Their 3-point shooting has been incredible. Easton's 3 is good right there to match Jackson's, but the Titans will take it as long as you're matching points. Brighton can't come back.
Yeah, that's what Olympus has been so good at all game long. Every time Brighton seems to answer to Olympus's offense, Olympus kills all momentum they have with like a 3 or a 2 of their own. They have just been excellent all night long.
And this has been a great win for the Titans, and I think this is an important win for them too, as they weren't overlooking Brighton for Alta next week. This is an incredibly tough week for them, and it's a big rivalry week for them too, because Alta, while the rivalries are a little bit different though, the Brighton rivalry is just pure hatred between the two schools. The Alta rivalry is a bit more of a competitor's rivalry. Those teams have been so good in recent years, and they faced off so deep in the playoffs recently that it's more of a competitive rivalry.
Yeah, Friday is a rematch of last year's state championship where Olympus won, and with this Brighton game, you didn't really know what you were going to get. If you were going to have Olympus overlooking them, which on paper you might have wanted to. Brighton has not been stellar all year long, but they still are a pesky team that you cannot overlook, and they have not done that tonight.
Gavin Lowe's going to let that shot clock go all the way down before he takes a shot, or any other Titan takes a shot. Titans are going to come out of this one with a 13-1 record, a 3-0 start in region play, which they will be tied with Skyline, as Lazarus's 3 is up and it is no good. It's been interesting to see Skyline really come on to start this region play. They're extremely hot right now as they defeated Alto this past week. Evers passes it back out to Matheson. Matheson tries to go inside to Cohen. They find a cutting Evers. His floater is up and good.
Have to expect the Titans to just run out the clock here. This has been a pretty significant win for them. It's a rivalry game. You don't know what to expect, and they've just done an excellent job at keeping Brighton out of reach of a win.
And now the Titans just draining the clock, of course. And this has been basically every Olympus versus Brighton game over the past 5 years. Brighton's, as the 3 by Jackson is no good. Brighton's always close, but not there, and a lot of the times the score is around 10 to 15 points. And that'll do it tonight as the Olympus Titans defeat their rivals for the 11th straight time, 68-54.
One of these times, you just expect Brighton to finally come out and beat the Titans, but as of recently, they just cannot do so. They're getting close, but Olympus is just too much for them. But the story of this game, and especially the second half, has been the Olympus defense. Brighton got off to a little bit of a run, and they completely shut down them from there. So it's a very good sign for them, both on the defensive side and also the offensive side with their three-point shooting.
And so thank you all for watching another edition of Olympus Basketball on OlyTV. Brighton gets this next Friday off before a big matchup at home against Alta on Tuesday next week. Olympus, on the other hand, does play this Friday, and boy is it a big one. We will have a rematch of the 5A state championship game between the Olympus Titans and the Alta Hawks. Olympus, of course, took care of business up on the hill at the Huntsman Center to win their second title in 3 years last year. The year before that, it was Alta knocking off Olympus in the semis to win a state championship themselves. We will have that game right here on OlyTV, where we expect probably the most raucous environment this gym will see this year. For the entire production crew and Mr. Miller,
I'm Miles Pierce.
And I'm Lucas Pierce. Have a great rest of your night.